Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic for today's video is all about the types of feminism. In 1983, Alison Jagger published Feminist Politics and Human Nature, where she defined four theories related to feminism, Marxism, radical feminism, and socialist feminism. There are four types of feminism. These are the liberal feminism, social feminism, radical feminism, and cultural feminism. So let's start with the liberal feminism. Liberal feminism was rooted in classic liberal thought and believes that individuals should be free to develop their own talents and pursue their own interests. So this kind of feminism movement happened during the patriarchal social system wherein the males are predominated by power and control. So men and women are treated differently during this kind of social system. So that's why some feminists argue with this kind of social system because there is no equality. So this kind of feminism movement was created by the feminists during the patriarchal social system wherein the males are predominated by the power, liberty, and the rights control compared to women. So the feminists fight for this right that individuals should be free to develop their own talents and pursue their own interests to both gender, either male or female. So its primary goal is gender equality in the public sphere, like equal to access to education. So before, during the patriarchal social system, males are sent to school compared to women because they believe that men are more smarter than women. Next is equal pay. Next, ending job segregation, better working conditions, etc. So, Mary Wollstonecraft represents the beginning of the liberal feminist movement. So, she is the one who represents the beginning of the liberal feminist movement. She wrote a vindication of the rights of women in which she makes the case that women need to be educated as well as men so that they can grow up to be moral and autonomous human beings. So he believes that women are need to be educated as well as men. So another definition, as a political philosophy, liberal feminism advocates for women's legal and political rights. So that's it. Scholars and activists use the term liberal feminism to distinguish this form of political philosophy and activism from other branches of feminism and feminist theory such as socialist feminism or radical feminism. So let's have a short recap about liberal feminism. So liberal feminism was rooted in classic liberal thought, and they believed that individuals should be free to develop their own talents and pursue their own interests. So the person who represents the beginning of the liberal feminist movement was Mary Wollstonecraft. So she wrote a vindication of the rights that women need to be educated as well as men. So the main goal of liberal feminism is gender equality in public spheres such as equal education, equal pay for equal work, ending gender segregation at work, and other better working conditions. So from this perspective, changes in the law will make these goals possible. The next is social feminism. Social feminism is slightly less extreme but still calls for major social change. Social feminism is a movement that calls for an end to capitalism through a socialist formation of economy. So socialist feminists believe that root the capitalism was the root cause why are women paid less than compared to men, because capitalism believe that men are more productive compared to women. So that's why the socialist feminists fight for it. Basically, socialist feminism argues that capitalism strengthens and supports the sexist status quo because men are the ones who currently have power and money. Those men are more willing with other men, which mean that women are continually given fewer opportunities and resources. So, in the statement that men are more willing to share their power and money with other men, we can deeply analyze that there is an inequality happen during that time between men and women. So we can analyze that men or women have fewer opportunities compared to men, especially at work, because during men's or during the patriarchal, men are thought to be more productive compared to women. So that's why the social feminists advocate this movement to end the capitalism in that time. So the goal of social feminism is to work with men to achieve a level playing field for both genders. So that's it. How is socialist feminism different? Socialist feminism has often been compared to cultural feminism, but they are quite different, although there are some similarities. Cultural feminism focuses almost exclusively on unique traits and accomplishments of female gender in opposition to this of men, but socialist feminism opposes this. Socialist feminism is also distinctly different from liberal feminism, although liberal feminists seek equality of the sexes. Socialist feminists do not believe that is entirely possible within the constraints of current society. So the third type of feminism is called the radical feminism. It is a philosophy emphasizing the patriarchal roots of inequality between men and women, or more specifically, social dominance of women by men. A radical feminist aims to dismantle patriarchy rather than making adjustment to the system through legal changes. So, as we as we remember from liberal feminism, social feminism, up to radical feminism, it emphasizes the patriarchal roots of inequality between men and women. So, the radical feminist aims to dismantle patriarchy rather than making adjustment to the system through legal changes, because if there's still a patriarchal social system, it could not be possible to have a change, to have rights between men and women. So roots of radical feminism. It was rooted in the wider radical movement of the 1960s, finding themselves excluded from equal power by men. Here are some key issues of radical feminists include reproductive rights for women, including freedom to make choices to give birth, have an abortion, use of birth control, or get sterilized. Understanding pornography as an industry and practice leading to harm women, although some radical feminists disagreed with this position. And the next is understanding rape as an expression of patriarchal power, not a seeking of sex. So these are the some issues about radical feminism. Why radical feminists make a movement or made a movement to end or to dismantle the patriarchal kind of social system. The last type of feminism is called cultural feminism. Cultural feminism view that there is a female nature or female essence, attempts to revalue and redefine attributes ascribed to femaleness. It is also used to describe theories that comment innate differences between women and men. Cultural feminism is also a variety of feminism which emphasizes essential differences between men and women based on biological differences in reproductive capacity. Cultural feminism attributes to those differences distinctive and superior virtues in women. So, who came up with the cultural feminism? Alice Eccles coined the term cultural feminism to describe its essentializing tendencies and promotion of a female counterculture. If gender differences are innate, then the cultural feminists focus on an alternative feminist culture is politically correct. Difference with other kinds of feminism. The three main aspects of cultural feminism that are critiqued by other kinds of feminism have been essentialism, or the idea that male and female differences are part of the essence of male and female. Separatism, and the idea of a feminist vanguard building the new culture rather than transforming the existing one through political and other challenges. While a radical feminist might critique the traditional family as being an institution of patriarchy, a cultural feminist might work to transform the family by focusing on the nurturing and caring that a woman centered family can provide in life. Liberal feminists critique radical feminism for essentialism, often believing instead that male or female differences in behavior or values are a product of current society. Liberal feminists is also critique the separatism of cultural feminism, preferring to work within the system. And the last but not the least, socialist feminism emphasizes the economic basis of inequality, while cultural feminists root social problems in the devaluing of women's natural tendencies. Cultural feminists reject the idea that oppression of women is based on the class power exercised by men. So let's take a short summary about the types of feminism. So the four types of feminisms are liberal feminism, social feminism, radical feminism, and cultural feminism. So in liberal feminism, it was rooted in classic liberal thought and believes that the individual should free to develop their own talents and pursue their own interests. So the person who represents the beginning of liberal feminist movement was Mary Wollstonecraft. And while in the social feminism, it is a movement that calls for an end to capitalism through a socialist formation of economy, because they believe that the capitalism is the root cause of gender inequality to both men and women. The third is um, radical feminism. Radical feminism is a philosophy emphasizing the patriarchal roots of inequality between men and women, or more specifically, social dominance of women by men. So, a radical feminist aims dismantle patriarchy rather than making adjustments to the system through legal changes. They believe that the patriarchal kind of social system is one of the root cause of radical feminism. And the last but not the least is cultural feminism. It is a movement that points out how modern society is hurt by encouraging masculine behavior, but society would benefit by encouraging feminine behavior instead. It is a variety of feminism which emphasizes essential differences between men and women based on biological differences in reproductive capacity. So that's all. Thank you.
What is feminist theory? Feminist theory is a major branch within sociology. It is a set of structural conflict approach which views society as a conflict between men and women. There are the beliefs that women are oppressed or disadvantaged by various social institutions. Feminist theory aims to highlight the social problems and issues that are experienced by women. Some of the key areas of focus include discrimination on the basis of sex and gender, objectification, economic inequality, power, gender role, and stereotypes. Feminists share a common goal in support of equality for men and women. Although all feminists strive for gender equality, there are various ways to approach this theory. Gender differences. Some feminist theory provides an analytic framework for understanding a woman's location in and experience of social situations differ from men's. For example, is cultural feminists. Cultural feminists look to the different values associated with womanhood and femininity as a reason why men and women experience social world differently. Other feminist theories believes that the different role assigned to women and men within institutions better explain gender difference, including sexual division of labor in the household. Existential and phenomenological feminists focus on how women have been marginalized and defined as other in patriarchal societies. Some feminist theories focus especially on how masculinity is developed through socialization and how it is development interacts with the process of developing femininity in girls. Gender inequality. Feminist theories recognized that women's experiences are not only different to men's but are unequal. Feminists will oppose laws and cultural norms that mean women earn and lower income and have less educational and career opportunities than men. Liberal feminists argue that women have the same capacity as men for moral reasoning and agency, but the patriarchy, particularly the sexist division of labor, has historically denied women the opportunity to express and practice this reasoning. Liberal feminists also point out the heterosexual marriage is a site of gender inequality wherein women do not benefit from being married as men do. Gender oppression. Gender oppression goes farther than gender inequality. Oppression means that not only are women different from or unequal to men, but they are actively subordinated, exploited, and even abused by men. Power is the key variable in the two main theories of gender oppression. First is psychoanalytic feminism and radical feminism. Psychoanalytic feminism is a theory of oppression which asserts that men have an inherent psychological need to subjugate women, the root of man's compulsion to dominate women, and women's minimal resistance to subjugation lies deep within the human psyche. And radical feminists view society as fundamentally a patriarchy in which men dominate and oppress women. Radical feminists also argue that being a woman is a positive thing and of itself, and they think that patriarchy can be defeated if women recognize their own value and strength, establish a sisterhood of trust with other women, confront oppression critically, and for female separatist networks in the private and public spheres. Structural oppression. Feminist theories posit that gender inequality and oppression are the result of capitalism, racism, and patriarchy in which men dominate. They offer the important insight that not all women experience oppression in the same way, and that the same forces that work to oppress women and girls also oppress people of color, race, ethnicity, gender, and other marginalized groups. Another oppression of women is the economic kind wherein the men routinely earn more for the same work as women. Importance of feminism. Feminist theory is important since it helps to address and better understand unequal and oppressive gender relations. It promotes the goal for equality and opportunities for both sexes. For example, my mother works at the supermarket because she wants to provide for her family. Feminism means that my mother can choose to actively participate in earning for the family without my father having to permit her to do so. And my father is the sole breadwinner of the family. Also, my father does the laundry religiously, and the Sunday he does house cleaning, shopping for groceries, and cooking meals occasionally as part of his own duties without my mother having to ask him to do so. It shows feminism. Why should the feminist movement be different today? There have been different waves of feminism over the years, but they have all been exclusive of people, color, gay and trans women, and women in low-income households. It is important to acknowledge that women of color and poor women were excluded from the original feminist movement. If we're going to redefine today what it means to be feminist, we need to acknowledge that original exclusion and amplify their voice in our new movement. New feminism movements supports the idea that men and women have different strengths, perspectives, and roles while advocating for the equal worth and dignity of both sexes. Among its basic concepts are that biological differences are significant and do not compromise sexual equality. It also says that Feminism has to be intersectional if it's true feminism. If your feminism isn't intersectional, if it's trans-exclusive, if it's ableist, if it's racist, then it's not feminism. When we say ableist, discrimination or prejudice against individuals with disabilities. When we say trans-inclusive, it is including everyone, especially allowing and accommodating people who have historically been excluded as because of their race, gender, sexuality, or ability. In reality, feminism strives for equality of the sexes, not superiority for women. And one of the main aims of feminism is to take the gender rules that have been around for many years and deconstruct this to allow people to live free and empowered lives without being tied down to traditional restrictions. And that's fine. You can still be a feminist. However, you and your partner should make mindful decisions about household responsibilities. If you do most of the cooking, perhaps your partner should clean up the kitchen after dinner. If your partner does the laundry on the weekends, you can contribute in another ways like vacuuming or cleaning the house or whatever, as long as you're making decisions about responsibilities based on choice and personal preference and thus not on gender stereotypes. You'll be incorporating feminism into your lifestyle. Third is raise your children to believe in gender equality. There are many ways to raise children to be feminist. A good start is encouraging them to embrace their individual interests and passions